Hello everyone, my name is Roya, and this is my December wrap-up part 1. I'm doing parts 1 and 2 again this month because I read a lot of books that I'm going to have to return to friends and the library pretty soon, and also because I already read 9 books this month, which is insane. That's like the amount of books that it takes me a whole month to read, not 2 weeks. So first I'm going to tell you about the first book that I read this month, and that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and here are the dogs intruding on my filming. Hey guys, I'm filming here, stop sniffing the books and things, excuse me. Okay, well anyway, so Outlander is an amazing book. I freaking love it to pieces. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on it, I will link my December wrap-up down below because that's where I talked about it the most. But just let me tell you, it was amazing, and if I had the second one, I would have read it straight away. The next 3 books that I read were for the biannual bibliothon, and if you want to hear more about my thoughts on those, I will leave a link to my biannual bibliothon wrap-up down below. But for the reference, those books were Water for Elephants, which was really, really good. City of Dark Magic, which was good, but not the best book ever or anything. And Soundless by Rochelle Mead, which was, you know, good enough that I'm glad I read it, but not like anything special. Let me see if I can show you the dog. There's the dog. Hey, you're not even looking at the camera, Hendrix. Damn it, dog. Okay. Anyway, next I read Croak by Gina D'Amico. It's the first in a series, and it is about a girl named Lex who is a juvenile delinquent pretty much, and she just constantly misbehaves, and it's only been going on for like the past 2 years, and it turns out that her constant misbehaving is a symptom of her being a reaper. And so she goes off to the country thinking that she is going to have to like go to her uncle's house and be like just milk cows and shovel hay, but she actually, when she gets there, her uncle is a reaper and tells her that that's what she is meant to be as well. So this book was good. I really liked reading it, but it could also be a little bit too YA at times. We have like a lot of characters in this that we don't know a thing about practically, or we know like maybe one thing about. So a lot of it just, I mean, I really liked the character of Lex, but everyone else was kind of, like, most of the other characters were really, really flat. And the plot, and so when we find out who the culprit is who's doing this, like, awful thing, we kind of aren't, like, I wasn't shocked because I knew nothing about that character. You know what I mean? So it was good. I definitely still want to read the rest of the series at some point, but it wasn't, like, fantastic. The next book I read was For the Record by Charlotte Huang, and I picked this book up because I'm a musician and I really like books about bands and stuff that are actually accurate because, okay, spoiler for my bookish pet peeves video when I do one, one of my biggest bookish pet peeves is just having characters that are in bands when it's like the information about being in a band is like not accurate, and it's really just there for the coolness factor because everyone's in a band these days. And I mean, unless a book is about a band, I get really annoyed by it. This book is actually about a band, and that's why I picked it up. So it's about a girl named Chelsea who has been on all these like singing shows and whatnot, and has performed in front of a studio audience, but she didn't win or anything, but it was enough to get a band that like needed a singer for one more album and everything to hire her, basically. And she was not their first choice by any means. She was like the record company's first choice. So the band doesn't like her that much. They're not like super ultra friendly with her. And so she goes on tour with them, and basically this whole book follows all the tour, and And it's actually like really interesting. There's even like a thing in the back about what like some stuff in their handbook looks like, and also the tour itinerary. So if you want to go like, wait, how far along in this tour are they at this point? You can always like refer back to that, and it's so like it makes sense. If you get confused, it's like really weird. So there's a dog behind me again. Hello, dog. The main thing that I didn't like about this book though is just like, there are love triangles, and then there's going out with someone when you really obviously like someone else. And it's like, that is so annoying. I don't know why. Like, I don't find love triangles anywhere near as annoying as, like, just another person kind of forced into the picture just to make you kind of think that, that they're not going to end up with with the person they actually like and whatnot, because it's obvious who they're going to end up with ultimately, so I don't know what the deal is. I have this new rule about only reading one contemporary every 2 months, and I'm very glad that I picked this one for January and February. Then I read 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, and I was actually not thinking of reading this book. Like, it wasn't something that it really occurred to me to read, that I had any kind of, like, real desire to read. But then I happened to go to a friend's house, and, okay, the dog is sniffing my guitars and looking out the window. Okay, hello, dog. Meh. Okay, so anyway, so I saw this on a friend's bookshelf. I just, like, started reading it while I was there, and I already read, like, a third of it. And so then I asked, if I could borrow it. So it was, I finished this in, like, less than 24 hours. Actually, a bunch of the books on this list I finished in less than 24 hours. That's why there's so many. They were such quick reads. It is about a boy who gets these tapes that were recorded by a girl who killed herself, who we went to school with, and on each side of each tape, she's talking about a different person who is a reason for why she killed herself, and it is so weird and so sad and everything. Like, so I basically read this book, I read like half of this book, took a nap, and then dreamt about this book, and then woke up and read the rest. Like, it's a very moving story and everything. It's really weird. I don't know why I was so, like, absorbed into it, but I don't know. But it's really good. Then I read The Musician's Guide to the Road by Susan Volz, and Music Business Hacks by Simon Tam, who coincidentally is a bass player for a band that's kind of from around here, who my band is actually playing with on the 30th, which is crazy. But anyway, both of these books are really, really good. This one was a really quick read. I finished it in like less than a day. This one took me a lot longer. But basically, like, both of these are written by musicians who have extensively toured, and they talk about, like, this one specifically focuses on touring and talks about, like, what to do on tour in different situations, like, all this other stuff. There's even a section about touring in a van, and then one about touring in a bus. And, like, I found both of those sections so interesting, even though I've only ever toured in a van, like, twice. But basically, like, all the stuff about touring in a bus was still equally interesting, even though it's probably gonna be, like, a long time before I ever do that, if I do. Yeah, and then this one focused partly on information I already knew and partly on information that I didn't. And it doesn't just talk about tours, it talks about, like booking just shows in general, not necessarily tours, and it talks about merch, and it talks about, like, all kinds of things. Say, like, if you're in a band or you're a musician or whatever, like, you should definitely check these out. They're really interesting. So those are the books that I read in this half of January. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought in the comments, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!